3.1.30. So Uddhava, please tell me how is Uddhava, please tell me how is Pradyumna. So in this way the questions are asked. How is our brother-in-law Vasudev? So before that, how Lord incarnated at the request. So in this way, Vidura meets Uddhava and is asking about the family of Krishna. So in 30th verse, Canto 3, Chapter 1. Kaschidvare saumyat sutah sadrishkshah aste krini rathinam sadhu sambah asutayam jambavati vratadhya devam guham yombikaya dhrutogre kaschit, whether Hari, Saumya, O grave one, Sutaha, son, Sudrukshaha, similar, Aste fares well, Agranihi, foremost, Rathinam of the warriors, Sadhu, well behaved, Samba, Asuta, gave birth, Yamhum, Jambavati, then Vritadhya, enriched by bows, Devam, the demigod, Kuham, of the name Kartikeya, Yamhum, Ambikaya, unto the wife of Shiva, Dhritabal, Agni, the previous birth. O gentle one, does Samba fare well? He exactly remembers the son of the personality of Godhead. In a previous birth, he was born as Kartikeya in the womb of the wife of Shiva. And now he has been born in the womb of Jambavati, the most enriched wife of Krishna. So Lord Shiva, Srila Prabhupada writes that how he is the three qualitative incarnation, he is one of the three qualitative incarnation. So there it is written, he is a plenary expansion of the Lord. Kartikeya, born of him, is on the level of Pradyumna, another son of Krishna. So they look similar. So in this way it is said, Samba is looking similar to the son of a personality of Godhead. That is looking like Pradyumna. Okay. Read now. Raksha, read.
Hare Krishna. Shloka 30. क्वचित् हरे सौम्य सुता सद्रक्ष आस्ते गृणीरथिनां साधु साम्बः असुतयं जाम्बवती व्रताढया देवं गृहेयोऽम्बिकया धृतोग्रे. Translation: O gentle one, does Samba fare well? He exactly resembles the son of the personality of Godhead. In a previous birth, he was born as a Kartikeya in the womb of the wife of Lord Shiva, and now he has been born in the womb of Jambavati, the most enriched wife of Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. Lord Shiva, one of the three qualitative incarnations of the personality of Godhead, is the plenary expansion of the Lord. Kartikeya, born of him, is on the level of Pradyumna, another son of Lord Krishna. When Lord Shri Krishna descends into the material world, all his plenary portion also appear with him to exhibit different functions of the Lord. But for the pastime at the Vrindavan, all functions are performed by the Lord's different plenary expansions. Vasudev is a plenary expansion of Narayan. When the Lord appeared as a Vasudev before Devaki and Vasudev, he appeared in his capacity as Narayan. Similarly, all the demigods of the heavenly kingdom appeared as an associate of the Lord in the form of Pradyumna, Sam, Uddhava, etc. It is learned here that Kamadeva appeared as a Pradyumna, Kartikeya as a Samba, and one of the Vasu as a Uddhava. All of them serve in their different capacity in order to enrich the pastime of Lord Shri Krishna.
When Lord appeared, all the demigods also appeared in their capacities. That is what Brahma, Lord tells to Brahma that I will appear before that. Let many of the demigods come in the family of Yadus. That is how different, like Kamdeva appeared as Pradyumna, Kartikeya as Samba, one of the Vasus, Ashtavasus as Uddhava. Now, who is Yudhan? Let us see. Kshemam cha kaschid yudhana aste ya falgunal धनुरहस्यः लेभेञ्च सा दोक्षज सेवयैव गतिं तदीयां यतिभिर्दुरापां क्षेमम् all good सह हि कश्चित् whether युधानः सात्यकी aste is there yah one who falgunat from Arjuna, so Arjuna's one name is Falgunat. Labdha has achieved Dhanu Rahasya, one who understands the intricacies of military art. Lebhe also achieved Anjaza summarily, Adhokshaja of the transcendence, Sevaya by service, Eva certainly, Gatim destination, Tadiyam transcendental, Yatibhi by great renouncers, Durapam very difficult to achieve. So Uddhava does Yudhan farewell. He learned the intricacies of the military art from Arjuna and Falguna, yes, and attained the transcendental destination, which is very difficult to reach even for great renouncers. So again about Yudhan now. So Yudhan achieved this stage of life, just as he achieved expert knowledge from Arjuna. So he achieved his life became successful and he had spiritual angles of vision. This is the way of devotional service to the Lord. That is what is given. Okay. Aruna read.
Text 31, Hare Krishna. Shemam cha kaschidhyudhanaste
Keep your
ya
video off.
falguna labda dhanurahas.
Keep your video off so your voice will come.
On?
Keep your video off now when you're reading. Yeah, now read.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Shemam cha kaschidhyudhanaste ya falguna labda dhanurahasya lebenja sadoshaj sevayaiva gatim tadiyam yati rapam. Translation: O Uddhava, does Yuyudhana fare well? He learned the intricacies of the military art from Arjuna and attained the transcendental destination, which is very difficult to reach, even for great renouncers. The destination of transcendence is to become the personal associate of the personality of Godhead, who is known as Adokshaja. He who is beyond the reach of the senses, the renouncers of the world, the sannyasis, give up all worldly connections, namely family, wife, children, friends, home, wealth, everything, to attain the transcendental bliss of Brahman happiness. But Adokshaja happiness is beyond Brahman happiness. The empiric philosophers enjoy a transcendental quality of bliss by philosophical speculation on the supreme truth. But beyond that pleasure is the pleasure enjoyed by Brahman in his eternal form of the living entities after liberation from material bondage. But Parabrahman, the personality of Godhead, enjoys eternally a bliss of his own potency, which is called the Haladini potency. The empiric philosopher who studies Brahman by negation of the external features has not yet learned the quality of the Aladini potency of Brahman. Out of the many potencies of the omnipotent, there are three features of his internal potency, namely Samvit Sandhini and Aladini. And in spite of their strict adherence to the principles of Yama, Niyama, Asana, Dhyana, Dharana, and Pranayama, the great yogis and jnanis are unable to enter into the internal potency of the Lord. The internal potency is, however, easily realized by the devotees of the Lord by dint of devotional service. Yuyudhana achieved this stage of life just as he achieved expert knowledge in military science from Arjuna. Thus, His life was successful to the fullest extent from both material and spiritual angles of vision. That is the way of devotional service to the Lord. Hare
We have it
Krishna.
in Bhagavad Gita, Yudhana Viratashta Drupadashta Maharataha. They're all Maharathis. They not only became successful in the military arts, but he was very successful in the spiritual angles of vision also, where devotional service to the Lord has been emphasized. So Lhadini Shakti is very difficult to be understood. Out of three, Lhadini Shakti, that is the most rahasya, you can say confidential internal potency of Lord. The three internal potencies, Samvit, Sandhini, Hiladini. So Hiladini potency, whatever preaching task, whatever services, whatever we are doing, whatever cooking we are doing, dressing Lord, everything is only because of Hiladini Shakti of Krishna. So that is what is given here. Devotional service is very difficult to attain. It's only because of the blessings of Hiladini Shakti. कश्चित् बुधा स्वस्त्यनमीव आस्ते शुभल्कपुत्रो भगवत्प्रपन्नः यः कृष्णपादाङ्कितमार्गपांसु पांशु पांसु पांसुष्व there only you have to put पांसुष्व wait मार्गपांसुष्व अचेष्टत प्रेम विभिन्न धैर्यः यः कृष्णपादाङ्कितमार्गपांसुष्व अचेष्टत प्रेम विभिन्न धैर्यः कश्चित् whether Buddha, very learned, swasti well, anamivaha, anamivaha, faultless, asti, does exist, Shwafalka, putra, the son of Shwafalka, Akrur. Akrur is son of Shwafalka. Now about Akrur is asking. Bhagavat, regarding the personality of Godhead, Prapannaha, surrendered, Yaha, one who, Krishna, the Lord, Padankitaha, marked with footprints, Marga, path, path, Palm Sushu, the in the dust, Palm Sushu, acha, Sh and V, Shu has become, Palm Sushu, in the dust, Acheshtata, exhibited, Prema Vibhinna, lost in transcendental love, Dhairya, mental equilibrium. So it's asking about Akrurana. How is he? Is he doing well? He's a very learned person. He's a faultless person. He is Prapannaha. He surrendered to Lord. And then once he lost his mental equilibrium due to the transcendental ecstasy, prema vibhinnaha, dhairyam, he lost dhairya and fell on the dust of a road which was marked with the prints of Lord, Ankita, Pad Ankita. So in this Akrura has been described. Akrura came to take Krishna to Mathura. So how is Akrura now? Please tell me about Akrura. He is son of Shafalka. Okay. Vrindavanila Mataji, read.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी कच्चित् बुधः स्वस्ति अनमीव आस्ते श्वफल्कपुत्रो भगवत्प्रपन्नः यः कृष्णपादाङ्कितमार्गपां सुष्व अचेशततः प्रेम विभिन्नधैर्यः. Please tell me whether Akrur, the son of Shwaphalka, is doing well. He is a faultless soul, surrendered unto the personality of Godhead. He once lost his mental equilibrium due to his ecstasy of transcendental love and fell down on the dust of a road which was marked with the footprints of Lord Krishna. Purport. When Akrur came to Vrindavan in search of Krishna, he saw the footprints of the Lord on the dust of Nandagram and at once fell on them in ecstasy of transcendental love. This ecstasy is possible for a devotee who is fully absorbed in incessant thoughts of Krishna. Such a pure devotee of the Lord is naturally faultless because he is always associated with the supremely pure personality of Godhead. Constant thought of the Lord is the antiseptic method for keeping oneself free from the infectious contamination of the material qualities. The pure devotee of the Lord is always in company with the Lord by thinking of Him. Yet, In the particular context of time and place, the transcendental emotions take a different turn, and this breaks the mental equilibrium of the devotee. Lord Chaitanya displayed the typical example of the transcendental ecstasy, as we can understand from the life of this incarnation of God. Hare Krishna Mataji.
He displayed the typical example of transcendental ecstasy. Kaschit Shivam Devaka Bhojaputraya Vishnu Prachaya Iva Deva Matuhu Ya Vai Swagarbhena Dadhara Devam Priyata Yakya Vitanamartham Tanamartham Kaschit whether Shivam everything well Devaka Bhojaputraya of the daughter of King Devaka Bhoja Vishnu Prajaya of she who gave birth to the personality of God. Iva, like that of Deva Matu, the mother of the demigods Aditi, Ya one who, why indeed, Swagarbhena, by her own womb, Dadhara conceived, Devam, the Supreme Lord, Trai, the Vedas, Yatha as much as, Yakyavita Anam, Tanam, of spreading the sacrifice, Artham purpose. So, as the Vedas are the reservoir of sacrificial purposes, so the daughter of King Devaka Bhoja conceived the Supreme Personality of Godhead in her womb, as did the mother of demigods. Is Devaki well? Hmm. Devaka Bhoja. She is the son. She is the daughter of Devaka. She is not daughter of Ugrasen. Ugrasen and Devaka Bhoja, they are both brothers. So Kamsa is not. Is a cousin brother, not the real brother. Cousin brother. In those days, real cousin, they are all one family. So now, how is Devaki? First he asked about how is Vasudeva. Now about Devaki. Okay, see how much description is given. Vishnu Prajaya, Iva Deva Matuhu. She gave birth to the Lord Vishnu Prajaya. So she is Deva Matuhu, like how Aditi gave. ठीक है बिंदु रे
Hare Krishna Mataji. Text 33. Kachichivam devaka putrya Vishnu prajaya iva deva matuhu ya vai swagarbena dadara devam trayi yatha yagya vitanamartham. Translation. As the Vedas are the reservoir of sacrificial purposes, so the daughter of King Devaka Boja conceived the Supreme Personality of Godhead in her womb, as did the mother of the demigods. Is she, Devaki, doing well? Purport. The Vedas are full of transcendental knowledge and spiritual values, and thus Devaki, the mother of Lord Krishna, conceived the Lord in her womb as the personified meaning of the Vedas. There is no difference between the Vedas and the Lord. The Vedas aim at the understanding of the Lord, and the Lord is the Veda personified. Devaki is compared to the meaningful Vedas and the Lord to their purpose personified. Hare Krishna.
now see how the comparison is given Devaki is Vedas okay and Lord is the purpose what is the purpose of Veda to understand Lord so that's why Lord is the purpose personified Vedesha sarve aham eva vedya Vedanta krut devachaham. So Devaki is considered to be the Vedas. Vedas are holding Krishna, and the purpose of studying Vedas is to understand Krishna. Simple. So Krishna is that purpose, personified. Apis vidaste Bhagavan Sukambho Yah Satvatam Kamadurgo Niruddha Yamamananti Smahi Shabdayonim Manomayam Sattvaturiya Tattvam. So now but Anirudh has been asked. Api as also sweet whether Aste does he, Bhagavan, the personality of God, Sukham, all happiness, Vaha of you, Yaha, one who, Satvatam of the devotees, Kama Dugha, The source of all desires, Anirudh. The plenary expansion, Anirudh. Yam whom amananti, they accept sma from your he, certainly. Shabda yonim, the cause of the Rig Veda. Mana mayam, creator of the mind. Sattva, transcendental. Turiya, the fourth expansion. Tattvam, principle. So may I inquire whether Anirudh is doing well? He is a fulfiller of all the desires of the pure devotees and has been considered from you to be the cause of Rig Veda, the creator of the mind, and the fourth plenary expansion of Vishnu. Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pratyumna, Aniruddha. So it's the fourth plenary expansion. And they are all coming in Vishnu Tattvas. And another thing is, he is the cause of the Rig Veda. That means from him Rig Veda emanated. He is the creator of the mind. So Anirudh is also the cause of Mahavishnu, from whose breathing the Rig Veda appeared. That's what is given here. So now Anirudh appears as the son of Lord. Okay. So now Raksha Mataji read 34th verse.
Yes, Mataji. अपि स्विदास्ते भगवान् सुखं वो यसात्वतां कामदुधो निरुद्धः यमामनन्ति स्म हि शाब्दयोनिं मनोमयं सत्त्वतुरीयतत्त्वम्. Translation. May I inquire whether Anirudh is doing well? He is the fulfiller of all the desire of the pure devotees and has been considered from your to be the cause of the Rig Veda, the creator of the mind and the fourth plenary expansion of the Vishnu. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. Adi Chaturbhuj, the original expansion from Baldeva are Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyuman and Anirudh. All of them are Vishnu Tattvas or non-different personalities of Godhead. In the incarnation of Sri Rama, all these different expansions appear for particular pastimes. Lord Ram is the original Vasudev and his brothers were Sankarshan, Pradyuman and Anirudh. Anirudh is also the cause of Mahavishnu from whose breathing the Rig Veda appeared. All this is nicely explained in the Markandeya Puran. In the incarnation of Lord Krishna, Anirudh appeared as the son of the Lord. Lord Krishna in Dwarka is the Vasudev expansion of original group. The original Lord Krishna never leaves Golok Vrindavan. All the plenary expansions are one of the same Vishnu Tattva and there is no difference in their potency. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Next. Api Svidanye cha Nijatmadaivam Ananyavrittaya Samanuvrataye Radhikasatyatma Yatmaja Charudev Deshna Gadadayah Swasti Charanti Saumya. So now about Radhika Charudeshnaha Gada, the son of Satyabhama. Who is son of Satyabhama? Who is son of Satyabhama? Narkasura, so he is asking about son of Satyabhama also. Then Charudeshnaha, Gada and others. I am not reading word to word because only names are there. They have who accept Sri Krishna as the soul of the self and thus follow his path without deviation. Are they well? He is asking about everyone. Are they all well? Next is Api Swadormyam Vijayachyutabhyam Dharmena Dharma Paripati Setum Duryodhano Tapyata Sat Yat Sabhayam Samrajya Lakshmya Vijaya Nuvrittaya. Api as also Swadorabham. Api as also Swadorabhyam, own arms, Vijaya, Arjuna. His name is Vijaya also. Achyutabhyam, along with Sri Krishna, Dharmena, on religious principles, Dharma, King Yudhishthir Paripati maintains Setum the respect of religion. Duryodhana. Atapyata envied, yet whose Sabhayam, royal assembly, Samrajya imperial, Lakshmya opulence, Vijaya Anuptya by the service of Arjuna. Also, let me inquire whether Maharaj Yudhishthir is now maintaining the kingdom according to religious principles and with respect for the path of religion. Formerly, Duryodhan was burning with envy because Yudhishthir was was being protected by the arms of Krishna and Arjuna, as if they were his own arms. So, is Yudhishthir okay? Now, about Yudhishthir has been asked. Okay, read. Aruna, read.
Hare Krishna, text 35. Api svidanye cha nijatmadaiva mananyavritya हृदीकसत्यात्मज चारुदेष्णा गदादय स्वस्ति चरन्ति सौम्य. Translation: O sober one, others such as Hridika, Charudeshna, Gada, and the son of Satyabhama who accept Lord Sri Krishna as the soul of the self and thus follow his path without deviation, are they well? Text 36. अपि स्वदोर्भ्यां विजयाच्युदाभ्यां धर्मेण धर्म परिपाति सेतुं दुर्योधनोतप्यत यत्सभायां साम्राज्यलक्ष्म्या विजयानुवृत्त्या. Translation: Also, let me inquire whether Maharaja Yudhishthira is now maintaining the kingdom according to religious principles and with respect for the path of religion. Formerly, Duryodhana was burning with envy because Yudhishthira was being protected by the arms of Krishna and Arjuna as if they were his own arms. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maharaja Yudhishthira was the emblem of religion. When he was ruling his kingdom with the help of Lord Krishna and Arjuna, the opulence of his kingdom surpassed all imaginations of the opulence of the kingdom of heaven. His actual arms were Lord Krishna and Arjuna, and thus he surpassed everyone's opulence. Duryodhana, being envious of this opulence, planned so many schemes to put Yudhishthira into difficulty, and at last the battle of Kurukshetra was brought about. After the battle of Kurukshetra, Maharaja Yudhishthira was again able to rule this legitimate kingdom, and he reinstated the principles of honor and respect for religion. That is the beauty of a kingdom ruled by a pious king like Maharaja Yudhishthira. Hare Krishna.
Now, about Yudhishthir is asked. Next. Now, about Bhima is asked. How is Bhima? How the comparison is as see, Bhima is like co-brother. Kimva krute kruta deshvaghamatyamashim Bhimo hiva dirghatamam vimunchat यस्याङ्घ्रिपातं रणपूर्णसेः मार्गं गदायाश्चरतो विचित्रम् किं whether va either krita performed agheshu unto the sinners agham angry ati amarshi unconquerable bhima ahivat like a cobra dirghatamam long cherished vyamunchat has released yasya whose angripatam putting on the steps, Ranabhu, the field of battles, Na could not say tolerate. Margam, the path, Gadaya, by the clubs. Charataha playing Chitram, wonderful. Please tell me whether the unconquerable Bhima, who is like a cobra, has released his long cherished anger upon the sinners. The field of battle could not tolerate even the wonderful playing of his club when he stepped on the path. So as he come out of the anger, that's what is the question. Okay, Bindu, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Text 37. Kim va कृतागेष्व agam atag atyamarshi भीमो हिवत् दीर्घत्मं व्यमुञ्चयत् यस्याङ्घ्रिपातं रणभूर्णसेः मार्गं गदायाश्च चरोत् विचित्रम्. Translation. Please tell me whether the unconquerable Bhima, who is like a cobra, has released his long cherished anger upon the sinners. The field of battle could not tolerate even the wonderful playing of his club when he stepped on the path. Purport. Vidura knew the strength of Bhima. Whenever Bhima was on the battlefield, his steps on the path and the wonderful playing of his club were unbearable for the enemy. Powerful Bhima did not take steps against the sons of Dhritarashtra for a long time. Vidura's enquiry was whether he had yet released his anger, which was like that of a suffering cobra. When a cobra releases its venom, after long cherished anger, its victim cannot survive. Hare Krishna.
So has he released his wrong cherished anger? That is what is the question asked. Has he killed them? कश्चित्यशोधा रथयूथपानां गाण्डीवधन्वो परतारिरास्ते अलक्षितो यच्चरकूटगूढो माया किरातो गिरिशस्तुष्टुष. So Kashchit, whether Yashadha, the famous Rathayutapanam, among the great chariot warriors, Gandiva, Dhanvabo, Uparata Arihi, Uparatarihi, one who has vanquished the enemies, Aste, doing well, Alakshitaha, without being identified, yet whose Sharakuta, Sharakuta, Sharak, Sharakuta Gudha, being covered by arrows, Maya Kirata, false hunters, Girisha, Lord Shiva, Tutosha was satisfied. So please tell me whether Arjuna, whose bow bears the name Gandiva, and who is always famous amongst the chariot warriors for vanquishing his enemies, is doing well. He once satisfied Lord Shiva by covering him with arrows when Shiva came as an unidentified false hunter. So that is how he got Pashupata Astra from Lord Shiva. So he's a great warrior, chariot warrior. He satisfied Lord Shiva by covering him with arrows. So that is how Lord Shiva saw the strength and gave him Pashupat Astra. Okay, Vrindavanila Mataji.
कच्चित् यशोधा रथयुथपानां गाण्डीवधन्वो परतरैरास्ते अलक्षितो यच्छरकूटगूढो माया किराटो गिरिशस्तुतोष. Please tell me whether Arjun, whose bow bears the name Gandiv, and who is always famous amongst the chariot warriors for vanquishing his enemies, is doing well. He once satisfied Lord Shiv by covering him with arrows when Shiv came as an unidentified false hunter. Lord Shiv tested Arjun's strength by picking a quarrel with him over a hunted boar. He confronted Arjun in the false dress of a hunter, and Arjun covered him with arrows until Lord Shiva was satisfied with Arjun's fighting. He offered Arjun the Pashupati weapon and blessed him. Here Vidur inquired about the great warrior's well-being. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Now, Nakul Sahdev. Yamavut, Yamavita, Yamavutas Vittanayo Puthaya, Parthair Vutau Pakshmabhirakshiniva, Rematauthaya Mujeswari परात् सुपर्णाविव वज्रिवक्त्रा. Yamau means twins, Nakul Sahadev. Utasmit whether Tanayo sons of Pritha. Partha by the sons of Pritha. Vrtau protected. Pakshmabihi by shields. Akshini of the eyes. Iva like. Remate playing carelessly. Udhaya snatching. Murde in the fight. Swariktam own property. Parat from the enemy Duryodhana. Suparna Garuda the carrier of Lord Vishnu. Eva like Vajrihi Vaktrat from the mouth of Indra. So are the twin brothers who are protected by their brothers doing well? Just as the eye is always protected by the eyelid, they are protected by the sons of Pritha, who snatched back their rightful kingdom from the hands of their enemy Duryodhana. Just as the Garuda snatched nectar from the mouth of Indra, the thunderbolt carrier. They're asking now. Vidura is asking Uddhava about Nakul and Sahdev. So they are very much nicely protected. So the comparison is like the eyes are protected by the eyelids, like that. Pandavas protected by the other brothers, protected their younger brothers. This is actually a culture. The family elder people should protect the younger ones. These are metaphors are so wonderful. Okay. Okay, read. Hindu read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Text 39. Yamavatasvit tanayo pratayah parthe ritau pakshmabhir akshiniva ramata udhaya mrideswariktam parat suparnav iva vajrivikrat. Translation. Are the twin brothers who are protected by their brothers doing well? Just as the eye is always protected by the eyelid, they are protected by the sons of Pritha, who snatched back their rightful kingdom from the hands of their enemy Duryodhana, just as Garuda snatched nectar from the mouth of Indra, the thunderbolt carrier. Purport. Indra, the king of the heaven, carries a thunderbolt in his hand and is very strong. Yet Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, was able to snatch nectar from his mouth. Similarly, Duryodhana was as strong as the king of heaven, and still the sons of Pratha, the Pandavas, were able to snatch away their kingdom from Duryodhana. Both Garuda and the Prathas are pet devotees of the Lord, and thus it was possible for them to face such strong enemies. Vidura's enquiry was about the youngest brothers of the Pandavas, namely Nakula and Sahadeva. These twin brothers were sons of Madri, the stepmother of the other Pandavas. But although they were stepbrothers, because Kunti took charge of them after the departure of Madri with her husband Maharaj Pandu, Nakula and Sahadeva were as good as the other three Pandavas, Yudhishthira, Bhima, and Arjuna. The five brothers are known in the world as regular brothers. The three elder Pandavas took care of the younger brothers, just as the eyelid takes care of the eye. Vidura was anxious to know whether, after winning their own kingdom from the hands of Duryodhana, the younger brothers were still living happily under the care of the elder brothers. Hare Krishna. Mataji.
Vidura is anxious to know whether still they are living very happily under the care of elders. Aho prathapi dhriyater parthe rajar shivaryena vinapitena yastve kaviro dhirayo vichikye धनो द्वितीयः ककुभश्चतस्रः chatasraha. Aho, my lord, oh my lord, Prutha. Now about now mother. Buddhimanan. Appi also Briyate bears her life. Is she still living? Arbhaka Arthe, for the sake of fatherless children. Rajarshi King Pandu, Variyena, the best, Vina Api, without him. Tena him, Yaha, one who, two also, Ek alone, Viraha, the warrior, Adhiratha, commander, Vijigye, would conquer, Dhanu, the bow, Dvitiyaha, the second, Kakubaha, directions, Chatasraha, the fourth, Chatasraha is fourth. Oh, my lord, is Pritha still living? She lived only for the sake of her fatherless children. Otherwise, it was impossible for her to live without King Pandu, who was the greatest commander and who alone conquered the four directions simply with the help of a second bow. He was such a great warrior, but still he was thrown out. He was told to go just because he was weak. Now, is she still living? That time she was living, though she did not want to live, but she was living for the sake of her sons. Okay, Raksha, read.
Hare Krishna. Sloka 40. अहो पृथापि ध्रियते बकार्थे राजर्षिवरेण विनापि तेन यस्त्वेकवीरो धीरथो विजज्ञे धनुर्द्वितीय ककुभश्चतुस्र. Translation. Oh my lord, is Partha only for the sake of her fatherless children? Otherwise, it was impossible for her to live without King Pandu, who was the greatest commander and who alone conquered the four directions simply with the help of a second bow. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. A faithful wife cannot live without her lord, the husband, and therefore all widows used to voluntarily embrace the burning fire which consumed the dead husband. This system was very common in India because all the wives were chaste and faithful to their husbands. Later on, with the advent of the age of Kali, the wives gradually began to be less adherent to their husband, and the voluntarily embrace of the fire by the widows become a things of the past. Very recently, the system was abolished since the voluntary system had become a forcible social custom. When Maharaja Pandu died, both his wives, namely Kunti and Madri, were prepared to embrace the fire. But Madri requested Kunti to leave for the sake of the younger children, the five Pandavas. This was agreed upon by Kunti at the added request of Vyasadeva. In spite of her great bereavement, Kunti decided to live, not to enjoy life in the absence of her husband, but only to give protection to the children. This incident is referred to her by Vidur because he knew all the facts about his sister-in-law, Kunti Devi. It is understood that Maharaj Pandu was a great warrior and that he alone, with the help of bow and arrow, could conquer the world's four directions. In the absence of such a husband, it was almost impossible for Kunti to live on even as a widow, but she had to do it for the sake of the five children. Hare Krishna.
So it was not a forcible event. Sati was not like forcing. Whenever, whatever required, it was required the time that she should leave. So she lived. Simple. She lived. Because even Vyasa wanted her to leave. What is given her. For the sake of her five children. Added request from Vyasadeva. Okay. Next is 41st. Saumyanushochet tamadha patantam bhraktre paretaya vidutruhe yah niryapito yena suhat swapurya aham swaputra samanuvratena. Saumya, a gentle one. Anushoche, just lamenting, tam him, adaha patantam, gliding down, bhratre, on his brothers, paritahaya, death, virudruhe, vidudruhe, revolted against, yaha, one who, niryapitaha, driving on, yena, by whom, suhat, well-wisher, sapuriyaha, from his own house, aha, myself, saputra, with his own sons, samanu, Bhatena, accepting the same line of action. O gentle one, I simply lament for he, Dhritarashtra, who rebelled against his brother after death. By him I was driven out of my own house. Although I am his sincere well-wisher, because he accepted the line of action adopted by his own sons. So he did not ask about the well-wisher of his, about the welfare of his elder brother. Because the question is, because the answer is, there cannot be any well-being for such a person. He's a sinful person. Though Vidura was a well-wisher, that is what is given here. Vidura was a well-wisher. For every time he used to think about him. Dhritarashtra was very rebellious. He's not a good man. He's a rebellious person. That is why he's not asking about his good. He just says, I am just lamenting for this person. He threw out his brother and he threw out me also. So that is what happens. Cruelty because of excessive attachment to his sons, especially Duryodhana. Okay, Aruna, read.
Hare Krishna. Text 40. Text 41. Saumyanushochet tamada patantam bratre paretaya vidudruheya निर्यापितो येन सुहृत्स्वपुर्या aham swaputran samanobratena. Translation. O gentle one, I simply lament for he, Dhritarashtra, who rebelled against his brother after death. By him I was driven out of my own house, although I am his sincere well-wisher, because he accepted the line of action adopted by his own sons. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vidura did not ask about the welfare of his elder brother because there was no chance of his well-being, only news of his gliding down to hell. Vidura was a sincere well-wisher for Dhritarashtra, and he had a thought about him in the corner of his heart. He lamented that Dhritarashtra could rebel against the sons of his dead brother Pandu, and that he could drive him, Vidura, out of his own house on the dictation of his crooked sons. In spite of these actions, Vidura never became an enemy of Dhritarashtra, but continued to be his well-wisher. And at the last stage of Dhritarashtra's life, it was Vidura only who proved to be his real friend. Such is the behavior of a Vaishnava like Vidura. He desires all good even for his enemies. Hare Krishna.
So about Vidura is given that he is desiring all good for his enemies also. That is a nature. He intentionally is not asking because he knows that there cannot be any well-being for such people. Okay? So now the last verse for today, 42nd verse. Soham harer martya vidambanena drishorulam chalyatto vidhatu नान्योपलक्ष्य पदवीं प्रसादा चरामि पश्यन् गतविस्मयोत्र सः aham. Therefore, Hari, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but in this mortal world, vidambanena, without being recognized, Drisha on sight, Nulam of the people in general, Chalyataha bewildering, Vidhatuhu in order to do it, na not, Anyaha or others, Upalakshaha seen by others, Padavim, glories, Prasada, by the grace of Charami, do travel, Pashyan, by seeing, Tatavismaya, without doubt, Atra, in this matter. I am not astonished at this, having travelled over the world without being seen by others. The activities of the personality of God, which are like those of a man in this mortal world, are bewildering to others. But I know of his greatness by his grace, and thus I am happy in all respects. Mhm. So I am not astonished being traveled over the world without being seen by others. So activities of Lord is like a man in this mortal world. They are bewildering to others. But I know the greatness of Lord. So I'm not astonished to see the greatness of Lord because He's Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is what is said. Anyhow, the Leelas of Lord, there's nothing to be wondered about it. And Lord means He has all the supernatural powers. Okay. So what is there to be? What is there so much to be to be astonished? Vidura says, "I know His greatness. I know His greatness. That is why I am very happy." That means happiness lies in knowing the greatness of Lord. Simple. If one knows the greatness of Lord, automatically he is happy. If one doubts the greatness of Lord, he can never be happy. One who considers him as an ordinary, he can never be happy. That is what Duryodhana thought. He is an ordinary person. Okay. Binduri.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Text 42. सोऽहं हरेर्मर्त्यविडम्बनेन दृशो मृणानां चालयतो विधातु नान्योपलक्ष्यः पदवीं प्रसादाच् चरामि पश्यन् गतविस्मयोऽत्र. Translation: I am not astonished at this, having travelled over the world without being seen by others. The activities of the personality of Godhead, which are like those of a man in this mortal world, are bewildering to others, but I know of his greatness by his grace, and thus I am happy in all respects. Purport: although he was the brother of Dhritarashtra, Vidura was completely different. By the grace of Lord Krishna, he was not foolish like his brother, and thus his brother's association could not influence him. Dhritarashtra had his materialistic sons wanted to falsely lord it over and the world by dint of their own strength. The Lord encouraged them in this, and thus they became more and more bewildered. But Vidura wanted to achieve sincere devotional service of the Lord, and therefore became a soul absolutely surrendered to the absolute personality of Godhead. He could realize this in the progress of his pilgrim's journey, and thus he was freed from all doubts. He was not at all sorry to be bereft of his hearth and home because ha, he now had experienced that dependence on the mercy of the Lord is a greater freedom than so called freedom at home. A person should not be in the renounced order of life unless he is firmly convinced of being protected by the Lord. This stage of life is explained in Bhagavad Gita as Abhayam Tatra Samshuddhihi. Every living entity is factually completely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. But unless one is in the pure state of existence, he cannot be established in this position. This state of dependence is called Sattva Samshuddhi. or purification of one's existence. The result of such purification is exhibited in the fearlessness. A devotee of the Lord who is called Narayana Para is never afraid of anything because he is always aware of the fact that the Lord protects him in all circumstances. With this conviction, Vidura traveled alone, and he was not seen or recognized by any friend or foe. Thus, he enjoyed freedom of life without obligation to the many duties of the world. When Lord Sri Krishna was personally present in the mortal world in his eternal blissful form as Shyam Sundara, those who were not pure devotees of the Lord could not recognize him or know his glories. Avjananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam. Bhagavad Gita 9.11. He is always bewildering to the non devotees, but he is always seen by the devotees by dint of their pure devotional service to him. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Gandhi Mahamudha Manushim Tanumashitam. When I appear as a human, Buddhas can never understand. Okay, we'll stop. Any questions? You can ask.
Mataji, for this unit, how many
Mataji,
chapters, Mataji, can we know?
You
So
have
that
that.
we can.
You have it in that book. Third canto.
I'll check.
You just check that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll check.
We can
I'll
divide
check
this.
and
We can divide how many chapters total in third canto that you can divide.
33 chapters total, 33 or 34.
the part 1, part 2.
3 चैप्टर
Yeah,
करेंगे तो
because
अच्छा रहेगा माताजी.
16
Mataji,
are
may
there.
I ask?
in the 16.
Yeah.
Okay.
Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, tell me.
Mataji, in the 30th verse with which we started today,
Hmm.
there's a reference in the word to word meaning, there's reference of foremost of the word variance. But in the translation, we don't see its reference.
Yeah, I saw that. In translation is not given, but it is there in the word to word.
Yes. And second, Mataji, here it is written, "O gentle one does Samba," like there's reference to Samba, and then we say he exactly resembles the son of the personality of Godhead.
Yeah, there is also
So,
something typical. He is son of God. Na?
yes,
He resembled Pradyumna should have been there.
but there's no direct reference here.
He resembled son, but he is also
Uh,
son only. Na?
exactly. So how do we understand Mataji these things? Like,
It's some writing mistake, nothing else.
yeah, this is what
He
I mean.
resembled, maybe one word has gone. Was son of one word, because Pradyumna is mentioned in the purport.
Yes. Unless one reads the purport, we'll not come to know about Pradyumna.
Hmm. Yes. Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, Aniruddha is a son of Pradyumna.
नहीं
तो
अनिरुद्ध भी
उषा और अनिरुद्ध.
हाँ वो भी सन ऑफ प्रद्युम्न ना बराबर सन ऑफ प्रद्युम्न इज अनिरुद्ध एक्सपेंशन बराबर उषा का
Yes. उषा और अनिरुद्ध का स्टोरी है ना पूरा.
प्रद्युम्न's wife son of प्रद्युम्न अनिरुद्ध because that is where he kidnaps Usha and that Balram
उषा
doesn't like it.
चित्रलेखा. हाँ माताजी.
That is a big story is there.
And
So
Mataji, Satyaki is a...
he is grandson of Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. And Mataji, Satyaki is a Sarthi of Lord Krishna.
Charity.
Sarthi. Okay, Mataji.
ठीक है वंशकल्पतरुश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितनं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो जय श्री गोपाल
Dandavat pranam to all you too. Thank you, Mataji.